Shut up and sit down.
Welcome back to Pop Culture Podcast, episode 218. I'm Jay.
I'm Adrian, and you weren't so sure that you were Jay.
No, I just wasn't super sure it was actually 218.
Oh, it's 218, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because we're now, 3 weeks from 216.
Right.
And
So that's what I was trying to remember.
Yeah.
I count by drinks. So I was like, what did we have for 216.5? And that was the mead.
It was the mead.
And then last week for 217, we had the maple porter.
Right. I remember we're 3 weeks from 216 because we still have 1 week left to file a response to the complaint that we had now in the lawsuit with the concert outdoors.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it is what it is.
Okay.
But in the meantime, we're back for another week of comic book, TV, music, a little bit of just random news that I think I want to talk to you about.
Okay.
And gin.
Yeah.
Now, definitely a different gin.
This is not a gin that we've had anything like on the show before. I've had a version of this gin before, but there's something special about this one that sets it apart from even their normal cask finished gin.
Right. Now, I've tried all theirs. When I went to go get this bottle, they're like, well, try all of our gins. And I'm all like, well, okay.
Yeah, why not?
So the way this came about is Jay and I love Copperworks Distilling.
Yeah, we do.
Local distillery over there by the market in downtown Seattle.
Yep.
Took over the Doc Martin store.
Oh, I didn't know that's what was in there before.
Yeah, it was Doc Martin. There's something else next to it, and they tore it down, make it their distillery.
Okay.
So Jay sends me this link. He's like, dude, you got to see this.
Yeah.
So it is a Northwest cask finished gin that then, so there's another distillery not too far from there called Letterpress Distillery.
Okay.
And they make a blood orange ormoncello. Instead of limoncello, it's orange.
Okay.
So they got their casks, and that's what they use to make this.
Interesting. So we have talked. We've done a Copperworks on the show before, but I think that was one of those episodes that never ended up going up for some reason.
Oh, that's fine. We can drink it some more of it.
Yeah.
There's not much left in that bottle.
That's fine because every batch is different. So Copperworks, what they do, in case that episode didn't go up, they take beer starts from local breweries, and they actually end up taking that and putting it into their distilling process and making their liquor from that. So they've used a lot of starts from Elysian Brewery. They have a partnership with them. So the flavor profile is a little different than if you were to get just typical grains and start from scratch. With their cask finished gin, you notice that this is not a clear gin like most.
No, it is orange hued.
So what they do is they actually age it in the charred oak barrels as if you were making a whiskey.
Right.
So you get a little bit of that caramelized flavor in there. And so like we said, the difference this one is they actually used blood orange in the process. So it's
just the casks themselves.
Yes, just the casks which have the flavor from the
right. And this was a starter using a pale malt. So I have it here, neat to try for flavor comparison. And then the guy who runs the distillery said he likes it with just a little sparkling water and ice, which is what we have here.
Okay.
So here it is, neat.
All right.
Now, it has that gin burn.
Oh, it does, absolutely.
But it's got that nice orange on the backside.
It does. One of the things that I appreciate about their cask finished gin as opposed to a standard gin is it's not as much of that burn.
No.
I've had their straight gin and their cask finished gin, and there's a huge difference because the charred barrels actually do smooth it out a little bit. They take off some of that harsh vapor. But you're right. There's definitely the orange finish on it. And when I was lifting my glass to do the sip, the aromatics of the orange is very strong.
Yes.
So it's very pleasant.
It's definitely, it's got that gin flavor. So there is still that burn, that bit of acidity to it. But it's good. Again, so this was limited to 275 bottles.
Right.
That was it. We'll see what happens next.
So, and that's one of the things that I actually really do like about Copperworks is all their stuff is small batch. So if you were to go to a liquor store that sold Copperworks and say you were going to get their whiskey, it says, like this one says release number 13. So it's their cask finished gin release number 13, and number 13 was done with the orange jello.
Correct.
So if you go and you do like the whiskey, you can see a release 1, 2, 3. I think they're up to 7 or 8 now, and each one is slightly different in their flavor profile. So while you're buying essentially the same bottle, it's going to taste different than the last one you got, depending on the batch.
Very true. And I spoke to them about bourbons.
Okay.
And they're like, it's never going to happen because it takes at least 51% corn,
Yep.
and that's just not what they do.
Right.
All right. So you want to try it the
Sure.
recommended way, and then
So you said sparkling water in
it's a
there?
little sparkling water.
Okay. So the sparkling water cuts all of that burn out.
Yeah, it does.
There's no burn in that. I think you lose a little bit of the orange flavor profile doing it that way. But it's not bad.
It's not bad. I added a little bit more
Sure.
gin to it. But no, I like it. I think it's refreshing.
Yeah.
Definitely not going to replace whiskey for me, though.
No. No. That's not. I polished off another bottle this week.
Good for you.
I'm going to have to make a shopping trip soon.
I finished off what we had left of the Woodfords and what we had left of the Gentleman.
Okay. I finished off my makers.
Oh.
But it's fine, because then the next night I just went to my Jim Beam Rye.
There you go. There you go.
So.
All right. So let's move on. What have you been watching, my friend?
All right. Let me open the little red notebook here. My wife was laughing at me today as I was taking show notes. She's like, "You do that?" I'm like, I'm not gonna be able to keep track of this.
You have to, like, mine's in different color ink from different times when I wrote show notes.
Oh, interesting. I literally do it. So we record on Wednesdays typically, which is the day that new comics come out. So after I've made my comic book purchase, I then go through and I write down everything I bought, and I pull up my track down, write down everything I watched since the last time we recorded. So
Fair.
one shot. All right. So what did I watch? I watched Pretty Little Liars. There's one episode left in this entire show. Next week is the 2-hour series finale.
Okay.
Which I don't know what the hell it's going to be about because I feel like they kind of wrapped most stuff up in this week's episode. Watched this week's episode of Nashville. Finished out season 1 of American Gods.
Okay. And?
I really liked the show. There's definitely some stuff that I feel like, having not read the book, I'm missing out on. Because I feel like when they introduce characters, they don't necessarily do a very good job of explaining why the character's there or what their background is. But maybe that's just the way the book is too, and I'm not sure.
So have you gotten to the point where Shadow is like watching TV and the TV starts talking to him?
Yeah, that was like episode 2.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was weird. And then I think episode 1, they had the God of Internet in there.
No, that wasn't in the book because the internet wasn't a thing when the book came out.
Oh, that's fair. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah. So it was TV and you had... So essentially the American gods are all the new gods that we worship.
Right.
We realize the old gods are still a thing, but they're just not as revered anymore.
Yeah. So in the... I don't remember so there's 8 episodes in the season. It was either episode 7 or 8. I don't remember which. They introduce... I guess it's the god of Easter... Or the god that had the ability to do resurrection before Jesus showed up and stole the thunder.
Okay.
Again,
I don't... It's been so long.
Okay.
I've read that book 8 years ago.
Yeah.
At this point.
I immediately lost a little bit of interest in that because it was Kristen Chenoweth, who I just have a problem with as an actress. But in that same episode, Wednesday gives his speech where he finally reveals to Shadow that he is Odin.
Right.
And I don't like the way that he gave the speech. I can't remember the actor's name who plays Wednesday. He's a good actor. I like him. But he kind of just, like, deadpan reads the script, essentially. He's like, I am the All-Father. I am this. I am that. I'm called. Like, there's not really any drama or levity to it. It's just,
That's disappointing.
this is me. But at the same time, I didn't really want that to be, like, this big, like, overproduced, like, light show.
Yeah,
type
he's
thing.
speaking, the ravens show up and the clouds all form while he explains it. Okay.
So in that sense, I don't really know how they could have done that scene where it wouldn't have been disappointing to me. But whatever. So we're done with that season. They got renewed for a second season.
So that was going to be my question. It's only one book.
Right.
There is a sequel called The Nazi Boys. Not a good book.
Okay.
Regardless, though, is this going to be a Game of Thrones thing where they do that one book and they're like, well, we're just gonna keep going. Like, where did it end?
So it ended with him announcing that he is Odin.
Okay.
So my guess is, having not read the book, there's probably a decent amount
some
after
more
that.
Going to it. Sure.
So 2, maybe 3 seasons. If it goes longer than that, I think it's going to go downhill real quick. But being that it is a Starz show, I don't see them doing that.
Sure.
HBO owns Starz, but I think that's one where they kind of let things go. Black Sails was on that. It only made it 4 seasons before they're like, all right, we ran its course. We're done. So hopefully they don't drag it out too long.
Okay.
Finished House of Cards season 5. Some interesting things happened in this season. Have you ever watched House of Cards at all?
I have not.
Okay. So one of the ongoing plot devices is that Kevin Spacey's character breaks the fourth wall a few times this season. So he'll turn to the audience and he'll be like, I know you think I'm an asshole right now, but trust me, this is all for the greater good, or this guy's an whatever. They had his wife break the fourth wall this season.
So in this season, is he the Trump and making her the Melina?
He is essentially the Trump. It's kind of like a mixture between Obama and Trump, but kind of more of the negative things that we feel about Trump.
Okay. Whoa. You have negative feelings about the God King Trump?
No, sorry. I meant Ivanka Trump.
Uh-huh.
Isn't there? There's a sign. Anyways.
Ooh.
But so she, at the end of last season, they're angling to make her become vice president. And it happens. So they're now husband and wife, president, vice president. That's kind of what this season is.
Okay.
So when she breaks the fourth wall, she essentially says, I've known you're there the whole time. I just haven't given you the dignity of being recognized. And now it's my turn to kind of do what I want with my... And it turns this whole thing where now they're like working against each other. And it's kind of weird. And that's kind of where the season ends.
Okay.
So
not a stellar review, I'm feeling like here.
There was... Okay, so it was 13 episodes, I think. I would say 7 to 8 of them were really good. And other ones, it kind of just felt like they needed filler.
Okay.
So, and then I started rewatching Billions, season 1.
With Paul Giamatti?
Paul Giamatti and the guy from Homeland. I can never remember his name.
That dude.
Yeah. But it's also got Malin Ackerman, and it's got Jax's wife.
Portia de Rossi?
No. The other one. Maggie Siff.
Oh.
Yeah. So she plays Paul Giamatti's wife. So Paul Giamatti's a U.S. attorney. And then other guy, Brody, he is the head of a hedge fund.
Okay.
Paul Giamatti's wife, Maggie Siff, is the HR director at the hedge fund. And now Paul Giamatti is investigating the hedge fund company for insider trading. So now there's this whole weird conflict of interest.
Sure. Well, why wouldn't there be?
It's a show that I started watching when I was coming back from France last September. They had the first 2 or 3 episodes on the plane, so I watched it. And now that it's been 9 months since I watched it, I'm like, I need to go back and remember what's going on. So I got through the first 2 episodes of that. And that was all for TV.
Okay. So we watched some more Vikings.
Okay.
We're at the point now where they've decided to go back to Wessex.
Okay.
We now have Lagertha, who's now queen of her realm, or
she's the Earl of...
Yeah, they call her Earl Ingstad.
Right.
So they've all gone back. It's been fine. It's been good. I've been enjoying it well enough. We started American Grit season 2. So American Grit season 1. This is John Cena show.
Yeah.
So season 1 was John Cena's the host, 4 military combatants. They each have a team of athletic people.
Okay.
Who then have to go through these rigorous trials, and then somebody rings out at the end, and we have one winner.
Right.
Season 2, they went a different route.
Uh-oh.
And I don't like it. So they have John Cena the host, 4 different military people.
Okay.
But instead of having like actual physically fit people or people who are capable of doing these things, they've decided they're gonna
schlubs.
They're gonna get a bunch of schlubs who need to find themselves. So it's become a self-help show. So now you have a bunch of women crying, a bunch of guys who are assholes, and this problem and that problem. Funny enough, there's 3 women on there who have affairs when they're coming back from being cheated, and that's why they're trying to find themselves. And
Nope.
It's just not the same because now they're crying and, you can do this and I believe in you. But when my husband left me, don't be like that. We're stronger together. And I'm just like, no. I liked it better when it was still difficult and they still had a hard time.
Yeah.
But they were very clearly capable. And so the challenges have gotten much less challenging.
Okay.
The competition, it's turned into Big Brother. Because when they're in the house, they're drinking and flirting, and this person has this relationship, but thinks that, and I'm just like, disappointing.
Okay.
The other thing, before I talk about some wrestling, I'm gonna just really quick last man standing.
Okay. Yeah. This is. I was watching this story this week.
So they were gonna land on CMT.
Right.
Didn't happen.
No.
They were. Do you hear why they didn't land on CMT?
I didn't know.
Apparently, they couldn't. CMT could not afford it.
That makes sense. It's a deep cable channel.
It is a very deep cable channel. So then they tried NBC.
Oh, I didn't hear that.
Who also said no for political reasons.
Well, sure.
So at what point does Tim Allen either say fuck it and stop being a conservative, or say fuck you, I have enough money, I don't care?
I think at this point he needs to go for the latter.
Right?
Because that show's not going to get picked up anywhere.
But no, I mean for future stuff that he does.
Yeah, but I'm saying, so that show's not going to get picked up anywhere, and now his career is marred because it's like, oh, you had a show that got canceled because of your political views, and you couldn't even get picked up on a conservative network, which is CMT.
Right.
So we're done. I mean, go make a special stand-up comedy, something. We're done with you. So I think at this point, he's what, mid-60s?
No, he's not that old.
You don't think so?
No, I say he's in his 50s.
Because I feel like he was in his 40s when Home Improvement was on in the mid-90s.
No, I think he was in his 30s back then.
He had already had a huge coke problem. He had been doing stand-up for 20 years.
Yeah, but he got into coke and all that stuff in his teens.
No, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. Still, with as successful as he's been, even in his 50s, he doesn't have to work another day in his life.
Obviously, he doesn't have to.
No.
Right? I just think it's bullshit that his personal views become this thing. And I'm kind of sick of people's personal views affecting their job. Like, the reason I like some actors, like, I used to love Kevin Spacey because I didn't know shit about Kevin Spacey as an individual.
Sure.
In these past 10 years, he's come into, not 10 years, the past 5 years, he's come into the limelight, and now he's trying to be an activist, and he's dealing with this, he's that, and now I'm like, I now see you less as whatever role you're playing because now I have all this other bullshit to add to it.
But isn't that like catch-22? Because we look at all these celebrities that have all this money, and we're like, oh, you have all this money, you should do something. You have this position of influence, you should do something instead of just sit there in your Beverly Hills mansion. And then when they do try to do something, obviously it's going to get out there because everything they do gets out there. And then we're like, no, I don't want to hear about your philanthropy or your causes.
I feel like it's different when you're just like, yep, here's some money I'm contributing, as opposed to I'm going to tweet about it. I'm going to go on Jimmy Kimmel and tell you all about it on Jimmy Kimmel. I'm going to do this. I'm gonna, like, you know what I mean? I don't like it.
All right. Well,
I may be nitpicking.
No, and here
but it gets to the point where it's hard to separate them as an actor from them as an individual.
Sure. Okay. I can see that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was going somewhere else with that. I gone. Oh, in addition to that, I'm tired of the news stories that say, hey, liberals, you won. The show didn't get picked up on another network. At that point, it's not liberals preventing your show from being on there. It's the television corporations not wanting to be identified with one side or the other.
Right.
Because if you know, it's the whole CNN and Fox News debate. One of them is very conservative. One of them is very liberal. And that's all they do is attack each other for being one side or the other. I'm like, I don't just fucking report the news like you're supposed to.
No, there actually is no impartial news anymore.
No, I know there's not. No. I think I saw a story that Fox News actually dropped fair and balanced from their news tagline. Or something. Whatever their tagline was, they said that they were like non-biased.
Right, we're impartial-ish.
It's gone now because it's obvious that they're not.
It's not a thing.
Yeah. Anyways, okay, moving on.
Last thing I want to talk about, wrestling pay-per-view this weekend.
Yes.
Money in the Bank.
I actually have been following the news stories that came out of this, and I'm curious to hear your...
Okay.
Okay.
So, Money in the Bank, for those of you who are not familiar.
I literally had to read up on this week, so I'm like, the fuck is this?
5 people enter a ring.
Right.
and hanging above the ring is a briefcase.
Yep.
And there's ladders everywhere.
Yeah.
The only rule is whoever ends up with that briefcase wins.
Right.
Inside the briefcase is a contract for a shot at the title.
Yeah.
Anytime, 24/7, no matter what circumstances, you get a shot at the belt.
Right.
And people have used it to their advantage in ridiculous ways.
Who was it that challenged Cena right after he finished like a endurance match or something?
Yep, there's people who've challenged him like right after they've lost other matches. Back in the Attitude Era, somebody challenged him while he was sleeping, knocked him out while he was sleeping, got the pin. Like he brought a referee into the house.
Oh, jeez.
Legitimate, he got the belt.
Okay.
Like it is 24/7, right? But otherwise, there's no rules.
Right.
You can attack however you want to. You can defeat him however you want to. You do whatever you want to.
And that led to a little bit of controversy.
This was the first ever women's Money in the Bank match.
Right.
Same rules, just 5 women.
Yeah.
How did that match end, Jay?
One of the wrestlers' managers or boyfriends or handlers or chalet, whatever we're calling them these days.
Sure.
Came into the ring, climbed the ladder, grabbed the suitcase, and threw it to his associate.
Correct.
So none of the women climbed the ladder and got the briefcase,
Right.
which is bullshit.
So the ending is very controversial because the first ever women's Money in the Bank match
Was won by man.
was won by man. A woman needed a man to climb up the ladder, get it for her, and give it to her.
Yeah.
Because the woman can't do it herself. Man had to do it.
So, like I said, I had to research the rules of this match because I was not familiar with it. But if you go on the Wikipedia page for the match, this history of the match,
Money in the Bank,
it will show you the winners each year and on who they challenged and whether they. Anyways, for this one, it lists Ellsworth as the winner of the match.
That's dick.
Yeah, right.
So the deal is, here's why it's controversial and it's not. I'm gonna start with why it's not controversial.
Okay.
About 50% of the time, whoever wins by cheating at some way.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, so it's never
it's the way the match is set up.
Yeah, it's never a clean win. So to say, well, that doesn't really count, there's been a lot of times where that has happened.
Sure.
So we can roll that out. What I do love is the real life trolling that WWE is doing. Because essentially they're just like, you know why we're doing this? Because we fucking can, and you're talking about it. You know why? Because fuck you.
Yeah.
Because fuck you, we can.
Yeah, that's fair. Yeah.
And people are talking about it. And you know what I bet you? So that was a SmackDown pay-per-view only.
Right.
I bet you SmackDown viewership was through the roof this week.
Oh, absolutely.
So they know exactly what they're doing.
I mean, that's the business they're in. It's an entertainment business. The entire point of it is to get eyes on their product.
Right.
And like you said, the eyes on SmackDown probably doubled or tripled because of that.
Because this was picked up by like Google News.
Yep.
ESPN, like legitimate sources were commenting on this. So I think they are brilliant in the aspect of, one, they went IRL trolling and won.
Yeah.
2, nobody stopped watching because of it.
No.
And 3, this week on SmackDown, which we just watched before you came over, was that win should not count. The general manager said it's bullshit. We're going to have the match again next week. No interference from him this time.
On the actual SmackDown program.
On SmackDown.
Well, again, there's your ratings boost for your actual televised product.
So now they have this week boost because of the controversy. Next week, because we're going to have the match redone.
Yeah.
And all that's going to happen is she's now going to win what we refer to as clean. So she's going to win clean. So now there's no controversy.
Oh, you think they're going to let her win again?
I think she's going to win again. And she's going to win clean.
You want to wager on that?
Yeah.
Okay. I don't care which of the other 4 win.
Well, hold on. Now we're going 1 against 5 odds here. You got to choose somebody else.
No. Because the bet is either she wins or she doesn't win.
Okay. I think she will win.
I vote she does not win.
Okay.
Okay. We'll come up with terms later.
Well, yeah, we'll come up with terms and wager.
Okay.
I just think that is what I like about them is, one, unlike Marvel, they're not just bending to the Twitter and the fuck fans. They're just saying, we're a business.
Yeah.
We are in the business of money. And what we just did may have pissed you guys off, but it's going to make us some money.
Yeah,
so thanks for
true.
playing the game.
Okay.
Before we move... Oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, before we move on for wrestling, I want to get your opinion on one other thing.
Is this Tech It Bullet Club stuff? Oh, okay.
Well, no, we should talk about that.
Oh, hell yeah, we're gonna talk about that because that shirt's amazing.
The breakup from Cass and Enzo.
Wow, look at you, Jay.
Right?
Did you actually watch Raw?
No, fuck, I'm on Instagram.
Okay.
It's even better than your What Culture recap.
So here's the bigger thing from that, and what you may not realize.
I know nothing other than
in NXT, Big Cass and Enzo were tag team.
Right.
Carmella, the girl who won Money in the Bank with James Ellsworth, was their manager.
Yeah, I did know that.
Yeah. So she's Big Cass's real life partner.
Right. Yeah. So all the things that I keep seeing on Instagram is that Enzo got kicked to the side for Carmella.
Yeah,
essentially.
That's funny.
So, but it's also funny because this is going even further into the pop culture verse. So, Sweet Life of Zach and Cody. Are you familiar?
With the title only.
Okay. So the stars of that were Drake and Josh or something. Yeah, I think that's right. Anyways, one of them got married over the weekend and did not invite the other guy. So now there's all these things online. There's this weird Venn diagram between Sweet Life and WWE with this very narrow. So this week's been horrible for public relationships. You've got Cass and Enzo, and you've got Drake and Josh, and everybody's breaking up.
That's amazing. I love everything about it.
So, okay.
As a tag team, they've kind of run their course. It actually, we're going to turn this into a wrestling podcast now.
Yeah, right.
Some behind the scenes stuff. Actually, no, it's not behind the scenes anymore. It became public due to a leak a couple days ago.
Okay.
Vince McMahon runs WWE Creative.
Yeah.
Triple H ran NXT Creative.
Okay.
NXT has been phenomenal.
Yeah, you consistently say that is your...
That is. All these names we have right now in WWE, Cass and Enzo, Carmella, Becky Lynch, Bayley, Charlotte, et cetera, all came from NXT.
Yeah.
Did huge numbers there. They've come to WWE and floundered.
Oh, okay.
With some exceptions. You know, Finn Balor, you just can't stop Finn Balor.
Right.
So essentially what has happened is Triple H has cultivated them as these people. They've gone to WWE, and Vince is like, well, no, Cass is a big guy, so here's our diagram for big guys. This is what he has to do.
So he's got the plan laid out.
Right. So he's essentially just ruining all the NXT storylines and characters to fit in what WWE has always been doing.
Sure, yeah.
So there has been some power struggles behind the scenes, and due to Dave Meltzer from Wrestling Observer, it's actually been made now public that is a problem with the company right now.
Interesting. Well, I mean, Vince is only been around, what, like 5 more years?
Yeah. Well, so it's a publicly traded company at this point. He owns more than 51%, so he still is in charge.
Sure.
But we'll see what happens.
Okay. Onto the Bullet Club shirts.
Okay.
Because I have not bought the game yet. I'm gonna wait till after I get back from my trip.
Fair. Did you buy the shirt now though?
No, I'm on the fence about it.
All right, tell the people about it.
So we've talked the last couple weeks about Tekken because I've been reading the Tekken comic book, and now Tekken 7 is out for Xbox One and PS4. So you sent me a message yesterday, the day before,
last night,
saying that in Tekken 7 you can unlock costumes that are the Bullet Club alternate costume.
It's amazing!
Which we've talked about Bullet Club on here before. It's kind of the overarching group of people in the independent circuit.
Correct.
And each independent promotion has members in the Bullet Club and things like that. What I did not know, and you informed me, is that there's members of the Bullet Club that wear a shirt that is a Tekken shirt.
Yes.
There's an actual Bullet Club Tekken shirt, which I was not aware of. So I'm on the fence about it because I'm like, that'd be an awesome shirt, but I'd also feel like kind of a poser because I'm not really following the Bullet Club, or I don't know.
But you're following Tekken. It's
yeah,
cool.
That's true. Okay, maybe I'll buy it. Maybe I'll buy it. And maybe I'll start following the Bullet Club wrestling.
Man, good luck. I don't think there's just too much Bullet Club.
Yeah, I know.
There's just so much Bullet Club.
Right. I guess if I just follow the Bullet Club on Instagram, I'll stay
That's true.
as up to date as I am with the happenings in WWE.
So I have a couple Bullet Club members that I follow, and those are the ones I follow. Kenny Omega, Cody, and the Young Bucks. Sure. Primarily always Cody.
Yeah.
And each one has their own. So there's a generic Bullet Club shirt or logo, and then each member has their own Bullet Club like, you notice how that one said Bullet Club, but it had the Tekken kind of incorporated into it.
Right.
So they each have their own.
Okay. Now, is the Tekken one worn mostly by the people in the Japanese?
It is worn by, that's Kenny Omega's.
Oh, that's Kenny Omega specifically. Okay.
Who is the leader of the Bullet Club.
Okay.
So he's apparently, because he's a big video gamer. So he was actually in a Tekken tournament. Apparently he did very well.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. So, I'll have to pick up Tekken 7, or I'll probably pick up the shirt too.
Yeah. You definitely should.
Yeah.
Moving on to the other news. One thing, I'm going to do a shout out to Castle Lion.
Okay.
Who's now, let's just decide what we're going to call him.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
And he knows it's him. Thank you for pointing out the audio in the beginning of it. So as it turns out, on different players, the audio level between the music and us speaking is variable.
Which is weird. So what I was telling you, because you brought this up to me, and for those of you who are listening and you're annoyed by this, I apologize. I edit the show in Adobe Premiere, and when I do it, I put a fade on that intro music so that it's dropping out a little bit before we start talking. When I play it back in Premiere, it fades out right so that it's not overbearing on our voices. Apparently, when I export it and publish it, that fade is non-existent. So when we do our introductions, nobody can actually hear what the hell we're saying.
Right.
So I'll work on that. I apologize.
Oh.
Thanks for the...
This may be the first time they actually heard us say what episode it is.
Oh, that's a good point.
Wow.
So for those of you that don't know, we've been doing this shit for 10 years now.
Yeah.
No. So I'll make sure when I edit this one that I do that so that you guys can actually hear us.
Look at, if you want to be a producer, we'll take producer. We'll give you a producer credit.
Yeah, absolutely. You'll get paid double what we do.
Mm-hmm. So that's 2 bottles of whiskey a week?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. That's a generous stipend, I think. Mm-hmm. So let's move on. We're talking about video games. I do have one other video game related news I think is kind of interesting.
Okay.
Nintendo Switch has the game Rocket League and Minecraft.
Yes.
So does the PC.
Sure.
So does the Xbox.
Okay.
You can now play those cross-platform.
Oh, interesting.
So Nintendo is allowing their games to be played cross-platform with Xbox and Windows computers.
Interesting.
Sony's still not involved in the mix.
Well, no, fuck Sony.
But Xbox and PC are.
Now, do you play either of those games?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't.
But they are very honest. And the head of Nintendo America was like, we are taking our company in a different direction. One of less, I can't remember what exactly he said, but essentially he's like, we want to play well with others, and we want to give our clients and our customers, the best gaming experience they can have.
Yeah.
So he was very clear. He's like, this is just the beginning of what we're willing to do.
Interesting. Okay.
Now, I think that's genius because I love my Switch, and I take my Switch with me when I travel, when I go places. But at home, I'd rather play my Xbox.
Right.
Well, now I don't have to choose.
No.
And I think that's genius because, like they said, I still got to buy the Switch version of the game. I still got to buy the Xbox version of the game. So they already got my money.
Right.
What do they care when I choose to play it where? They got my money for it.
Yeah. By the way, it's still sold out everywhere.
Because it's amazing.
Like, I check 2 times a day.
Yeah.
It's still sold out everywhere. So
I love it.
I know.
The other thing, and I just saw this literally as you were walking in. I was like, well, that's interesting. They are now releasing variable. So we've had draft cold brew.
Yeah.
We knew it was only a matter of time till certain stores, including Starbucks, have a alcoholic draft cold brew.
Okay.
It's looking to be launched in the fall.
I don't know how I feel about that.
Right?
Because I think both of us have come to the consensus that we don't like cold brew.
I don't like cold brew. I prefer a draft cold brew to regular cold brew.
Sure. But I still don't like cold brew in general. So I don't know if adding alcohol to it is going to make me more interested, but I'll try it.
Definitely doesn't make me less interested.
No. Huh. All right. Alcoholic cold brew. Sure. I'll give it a shot.
There you go.
Okay.
So let's talk some music.
Okay.
Because I have some embarrassing things I need to say and gets out my chest.
How is the new Avril Lavigne album?
Oh, I didn't know she had a new
I was just trying.
Well, then let's go ahead and Price is Right moment. And I'll get back to here in 55 minutes.
Yeah.
About a new CD.
Yeah, I
Those
know.
are words that I say
yeah, I know.
regularly. Okay, hold on. This is why we need a producer for this tangent right here. I was at my office today, and one of the girls dropped her purse, and like 7 CDs fell out. I'm all like, "Yo, what's this all about?" She goes, "I know. I still switch CDs in my car." I was like, "Wow!" I was like, "Wait a minute. Your car's new."
Yeah.
Yeah. Doesn't it have a USB? Yeah. All right. Well, now you have no excuse. That's fucking crazy.
So I have to replace the speakers in my truck because one of them blew out somehow. Anyways, so I was looking at maybe replacing the head unit too, and I legitimately looked at buying just a digital head unit that doesn't even have a CD player in it.
I don't think those are options.
No, that's the thing.
Oh, all right.
I was looking at a Pioneer. It's got Bluetooth, it's got USB, it's got an SD card slot. It does not have a CD slot.
SD slot, that's kind of cool.
Yeah. But I'm like, yeah, because I don't need a goddamn CD player anymore.
Because you know what I do with my CDs? I rip them, and then I put them in the comic room.
Yeah, right?
But this one I got, I'm actually really excited about.
Okay.
It's a 3-disc limited edition Mumford & Sons.
Oh.
So disc 1 is the concert. They apparently did a tour throughout South Africa.
Oh, okay.
So disc 1 is the highlighted songs throughout the tour.
Sure.
Disc 2 is the documentary of them traveling through South Africa, why they chose South Africa, some of the problems they came through, and some of the other stuff. Disc 4 is the Blu-ray of the final concert in South Africa.
Okay.
And I'm all like, I totally want this box set.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Listen to it. Amazing quality on the recording. You know, some live qualities up and down.
Yeah.
Fantastic. Honestly, I have a couple of their other live albums. I've heard them live. Really, really good. Like, they clearly put their all into this entire tour because the songs aren't just from one concert. So fantastic album.
Okay, cool.
Now the embarrassing part.
Sure.
Spotify has a playlist where it's just new this week. And
I've listened to it a few times.
Yeah. Okay. So I just leave Spotify now. I hit play on something, plug it into the DAC, put on my earbuds. They're going to come out 8 hours later. Whatever Spotify does is what Spotify does. What I didn't realize it does, and maybe this is just the play.spotify.com, because I didn't download I didn't download the client. After the new this week is done, it starts playing the new this week albums.
Okay.
So I did hear the entire new Lorde album,
the
entire Katy Perry album,
and
the entire Halsey album. Now, Halsey, I'm not ashamed to admit, Beard's with me on this one. We love her. Love her. No shame.
No, the few Halsey songs I've heard, I like. The wife's definitely into Halsey, so I hear it.
I could not tell you between probably 12 tracks on Lorde's album what the difference was in any of those songs.
No, all of her songs sound exactly the same.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also couldn't tell you that I was listening to Katy Perry because it just sounded like garbage.
So, yeah, I mean, that's typical of Katy Perry. And I hear that album's getting panned big time, too. So.
It definitely was. Like, some of the Lorde, I was like, oh, this is fine. And then the Katy Perry's, I'm like, well, the whole album can't be this bad, right? Like, you take that bite of, I love burgers.
Yeah.
And I've had a bite of burger, I'm like, whew, it's not a good burger. I mean, whatever, I'll finish it, right?
Yeah.
Whew. That was a bad album, man.
Okay.
That was a bad album.
Yeah. All right. I'm sorry you had to endure that.
To be honest, though, the music sounded fantastic. That DAC is fucking something else. Really was.
I've been looking at while we're on the audio. I've been looking at a tube headphone amp for my desk.
Okay.
It's like $130. It's not that bad, but I'm like, do I really want? I'm a minimalist, so I'm like, do I really want another thing on my desk?
No, that's the German one you sent me, right?
That's one of them.
Okay.
There's another company that makes ones for slightly less, but those German ones are nice.
So I'm gonna blow your mind grapes with something real fast.
Okay.
So had dinner. Father's Day was Sunday.
Yeah.
Saturday had dinner with the wife and her parents.
Okay.
Her dad and I like each other. We're both kind of quiet people, so we don't
Sure.
have a lot in common. But apparently, when I mentioned a DAC, he was fucking in for that conversation.
Really?
He's got 4, including a tube one, and he's talked about I'm all like, well, now we have.
There you go.
Now
you got your common ground.
There it is.
Took a couple years, but you're there.
Yeah. I mean, it was football and this. So
there you go.
I feel like we got covered.
All right.
Any movies for you?
I watched one movie. The wife and I watched a movie. We were trying to figure out what to watch. She really wanted to watch The Zookeeper's Wife.
Okay.
And I was like, I'm not really in the mood for that type of movie. Let's watch a comedy. So we called up the comedy section, and we ended up watching Lego Batman.
Oh, okay, that's good. That connects into something I want to talk about.
Okay.
How was Lego Batman?
I thought it was highly entertaining.
Okay.
So I watched Lego Batman, and I watched the Lego movie, and I think they do pretty well with them.
Sure.
I had a little bit of an issue that Batman was kind of super into Barbara Gordon. Have you seen Lego Batman?
No.
Okay.
It's not that I'm protesting it. I really don't like their depiction of Robin, though.
That when I saw that Michael Cera was the voice of Robin, I'm like, I know that's not going to be a good Robin.
Beyond Michael Cera, you just made him a 12-year-old fucking spazzy 88, whatever. Anyways,
yeah.
Go ahead.
So in Lego Batman, Commissioner Gordon retires and Barbara Gordon gets appointed to be the new commissioner. And it's essentially the first time Bruce Wayne ever sees Barbara.
Okay.
And he's like totally like
smitten,
whatever. I'm like, I could have done without that because that's not the relationship they have. But at the same time, this isn't the relationship Robin really has either. So I kind of I let that go. But the fact that they just made Batman such a conceited asshole, I loved. Because it's a great it's not a canon depiction of him at all.
No, yeah.
But it's definitely a parody of him. It's great. I enjoyed the movie.
Okay.
Yeah.
I saw that it's out. I will watch it. I enjoyed the Lego movie well enough. I'll watch Lego Batman when I get around to it for sure. I want to watch Life first, the movie in space with Ryan Reynolds, Jake Gyllenhaal.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, I definitely want to watch that first, but that is on my agenda.
Okay.
Speaking of which, though, so the guys who directed Lego Batman also directed the Lego movie.
Sure.
They directed a couple other things, and they're the ones who are directing the Han Solo movie.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that.
Yeah. Uninteresting. They were fired from that movie.
Oh.
With only about
Oh, no, I did see that story. Because they're like, at the very last,
There's like a month left of shooting.
Oh.
And they have been fired from the movie for creative differences.
Okay.
So they hired...
They were trying to turn into Lego Han Solo?
So that's the part that's becoming really weird, right? Because they hired them because they wanted the Han Solo movie to be a little bit more funny, a little bit more uplifting, a little bit more Han Solo conceited, humorous.
Sure.
They even brought in comedians in the movie.
Okay.
Like Lando Calrissian is being played by Danny Glover.
Yeah.
Like they are intentionally trying to make this a funnier movie. And then they cut it out. They fired him for creative differences.
Interesting.
So apparently there's a lot of arguments between them and some of the writers.
Okay.
Because the writers are like, here's what we've written, and then they direct and they change some things, and
sure.
They did not like that.
Oh.
The thing is, though, the writers, he was one of the writers from the old Star Wars movies.
Oh, okay.
So they sided with him because he's an industry veteran.
Jeez.
So the question is, did they try to make it more humorous like the studio wanted? Did they not? Or are we now seeing that you cannot do a Star Wars movie every year?
I definitely think that's the case. I think, we had the original trilogy was 30 years ago now.
Sure.
40 years ago? Whatever.
No, late 70s, 77, I want to say 76.
But how many years?
No, it was 77. The first one, Star Wars, came out in 77.
Which is 40 years ago.
No, it's...
Yeah.
Good. No.
Because it's 2017
No,
now.
I
Wow.
I can't believe it.
Okay. So anyways, so you had 77, 81, 83, something like that. And then the next trilogy was like 99, 2003. Sure. So you waited 20 years, and I think that was kind of good because then it's not Star Wars overkill. It's not how do we tell more story? How do we milk this for everything we have? Whereas like you said, now we're doing one a year. It's like, what's going to set them all apart from each other? You can, okay, so have a comedic one here, have a serious one there, have an action one, whatever. But yeah, I give it 4 or 5 at the most before people are like, I just don't care about Star Wars anymore.
I don't know. Look how long we've been having a Marvel movie, and people still, every year, every time there's a Marvel movie, it's more and more ticket sales.
Yeah, that's true. But
so
I don't know.
The other thing about it that worries me is the director for episode 8, Colin Trevorrow, I believe it's how you pronounce it.
Sure.
He just had a new movie come out this weekend. It was his passion project, and he's been working on it, and he's just telling us his greatest film ever, and blah, 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 blah.
It's a flop.
Not only is it a flop, it is less than 20% on Rotten Tomatoes right now.
Oh, what movie is this? You don't know? All right.
It's like the book of some... I don't know. I don't care.
Fair enough.
All this Star Wars discussion because I rewatched The Force Awakens.
Okay.
It is just as meh as it was the first time I saw it.
I kind of figured. I've seen it twice, and I felt the same way the second time.
Yeah, absolutely. There's only one thing about it that changed my mind.
Okay.
And that's because my wife and I watch movies with closed caption on.
Sure.
And I don't know if you remember the scene where Rey picks up the lightsaber.
Uh-huh.
And there's all those weird things going behind, and there's those voices. You can't understand really what they're saying.
Yeah.
And then she snaps out of it.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, in closed caption, it tells you what those voices are saying.
And what are they saying?
It even says who's saying it.
Oh.
Because, sometimes when they're off... Have you ever watched closed caption?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So when it's off screen, they'll say, Jay says, blah, 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 blah. So it says, Yoda says.
Oh.
And then a bunch of it was Obi-Wan says. And when they're talking about specifically about I didn't want to leave you, it says Obi-Wan says, I didn't want to leave you.
Oh.
Now, it's been long rumored that she's a Kenobi.
Right.
But I feel like that was like a bigger nail into the coffin.
Yeah.
Because I've never heard anybody actually mention that specifically.
No.
So a friend of mine, I texted him, I'm like, have you ever... Because he actually likes Force Awakens.
What the fuck's wrong with him?
He's about 10 years younger than us.
Okay, makes sense.
So I'm like he's a 501st. He has
he's one of those.
He has a trooper uniform of every variety. Sand, storm, like every kind. I'm all like, have you ever watched it with this? He goes, no. I'm like, go watch that scene, throw on your closed caption. And he's like, oh my God. I'm like, right?
Okay.
So super interesting.
Yeah.
All right. That is what I got, except for comic book stuff.
I don't think I have anything else.
There you go.
Yeah. All right.
Let's talk about your polls this week.
Okay. So this week I got All-Star Batman.
Oh, I thought you quit.
I thought I did too.
Okay.
I also have, for some reason, that it was issue 1, and I don't think that's right. Whatever issue came out this week, I bought that. Archie number 21, Batman number 25, Batwoman number 25. That's not right either. Batwoman number 5, I think. Fuck, I don't know how to write numbers.
It's a 2.
No, it's a 2 and a 5. That's why I'm confused. Green Arrow 25, Green Lanterns 25, Iceman number 2, Letter 44 number 34, Mighty Morphin Power Rangers number 16, Nightwing number 23, and X-Men Gold number 6.
Okay. So, much like you, I got Batman 25, Nightwing 23, Super Sons number 5,
Okay.
Superman 25, Trinity 10, Daredevil 22,
Okay.
Peter Parker the Spectacular Spider-Man number 1.
Oh, it's a new... All right.
Yeah, I'm going to drop... I didn't realize who wrote it. If I knew who wrote it, I wouldn't even gotten issue 1. Chip Sandusky.
Oh, no.
James Bond, Felix Leiter, issue 6. And the book I want to review today is Archie 21.
I did read this. So we can talk about it.
Fantastic. The trades that I got in the mail today, sponsored by InStockTrades.com.
I really should see if they'll sponsor us.
We really should talk about it.
They sponsor everybody.
We should talk about it because I'm at an order a week from these guys now.
Yeah.
Is Demonic,
Okay.
trade paperback, The Wicked and Divine Volume 5, and Eden's Fall.
Aha.
Also sponsored by apparently Image.
Well, yeah. I mean, again, we might as well reach out for...
They're in Portland now.
Did they actually move now?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they're fully established in Portland. The prints all say Portland. They're in
So
Portland.
when we go to that beer fest, we should swing by their office?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's probably smart.
Yeah. I mean, we can swing by Dark Horse.
I mean, why?
I don't Boom. Boom's in Milwaukee. It's just outside of Portland.
So yeah.
Yeah.
So that's easy. We road trip. We go to Beer Fest. We go to Image. We go to Milwaukee. We watch a Brewers game.
No, not that Milwaukee. I mean, as great as that would be. No. Yeah. All right.
All right. What?
Okay. So first, I have 2 complaints before I talk about anything else. Batman 25, Green Arrow 25, Green Lanterns 25 all came out.
All
this week.
double size.
Why?
Because it's the 25th issue.
But that means nothing.
It's important-ish.
No.
They get charged an extra $1 for it.
Oh, it's such bullshit. So I was looking at this. I'm like, anniversary of what? Because it's 25. If they're coming out 1 a month, maybe sure. But we're getting 2 a month. So we've put out 12 and a half months worth of issues.
It's a year. It's a year.
But it's not a year. It's a little over a year. Because if it was a year, it'd be issue 24 because it comes out twice a month.
So you can't have an anniversary on the 24th.
Why not?
It's like Father's Day. It rotates on a Sunday. Your anniversary is on the 25th.
But yeah, so that pissed me off because I'm like, it's an arbitrary anniversary that I'm paying $1 more for. And when I read Batman, the extra 5 pages didn't do shit for me anyways.
Does it address the...
No. Oh, you haven't read it yet?
No.
Do you want me to talk about it?
Yeah.
Okay. So all it is this is set up to...
Jokes versus riddles.
The Jokes versus the Riddles war. So you are seeing the Riddler confronting the Joker about how... the Riddler is essentially saying, I'm at a point where I can't solve a riddle anymore. And I won't until I can take down Batman. You're at the point where you can't laugh anymore, and you won't be able to laugh until you take down Batman. And I realize if I take down Batman, I'm stealing your laugh, and if you take down Batman, you're stealing my riddle. So let's team up and go against Batman together. And then Joker betrays him.
Surprise.
Him. Yeah. And then the whole time it had been being narrated. And the last page, you find out that it's Bruce in bed with Selina telling her that he has to tell her this whole story because he needs to be completely honest with her.
Huh.
So the only tie-in it had to 24 is that they are talking to each other in bed.
Okay, first of all, who hasn't Selina Kyle been in bed with?
Right.
Let's start there.
Yeah, jeez.
Secondly, what I find interesting about this is, remember how last week we talked about Batman the Forge?
Yeah.
And he had Joker trapped there. So is this different continuum, or where are we at here?
This is a flashback. He's telling a story that happened previously.
Okay.
So,
but he's been captive since Scott Snyder times.
I think this is supposed to be before even that.
Okay.
So sometime between 0 year and captivity.
Okay.
Which, I don't know. There was something else. One of these books I was going to talk about how unrealistic something was. I don't remember which one it was that I read now, but... Maybe Iceman. I don't know. Well, Iceman was bullshit too.
How about we talk about Archie 21?
Okay, let's talk about Archie.
So, the reason I specifically told Archie 21 is because I feel like this is the epitome of quality storytelling.
Okay.
So, really, not a lot happened in these past 2 issues, but the way the story was told, the way Mark Waid has it unfolding, it's kept me super intrigued.
Okay.
So issue 20, Archie and Betty finally finish his car.
Yes.
Reggie's an asshole.
Yep.
Challenges them to a street race. Archie gets jealous. Veronica's feelings, everything all gets mingled in. He goes for it. Betty finds out. She chases him down. There's a car accident. We don't know what happened.
Right.
Beginning of this issue, we see the car wreck. We don't know what happens. And then the entire issue is told from all their friends.
Right.
What their friends are doing when suddenly they look at their phone and then they rush over to the hospital.
Yeah.
It's not until the last 2 pages that we actually know what happened.
Right. Because it's obviously building up for you to think that one particular character is the one that got hurt in the wreck.
Right. Doesn't tell you who. You don't know who. The reason is, if you think about it, what I've just described is enough for 2 pages.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Mark Waid made an entire issue out of it that I was thoroughly captivated by.
Yeah.
So it's not until the second to last page where we find out Archie's okay.
Right.
I'm sorry, the third to last page we find out Archie's okay. Second to last page we find out Reggie's okay.
Yep.
Last page we find out it's Betty and she just went in a cardiac arrest.
Yep.
End of the issue. Now once again I'm all like, well, where's 22?
Right.
Let's fucking go.
Yeah. And then the after the last page of story, they say this is the event that changes the Archie universe in a way that you'd never imagined, or something to that extent.
Right.
So, do you think Betty's gonna die?
No, because we have the Betty and Veronica comic, which I get it's a miniseries. I also don't think they're willing to kill Betty necessarily. Are they willing to make her Are they willing to put her in a wheelchair?
Does she become Oracle?
Does she become? We can finally cross. Betty is actually Barbara Gordon this whole time.
Oh,
damn! Mark Waid, genius.
Didn't see that one coming.
But no. Do we put her in a wheelchair? Does something actually happen? Even if nothing happens to her and she recuperates fine, I still feel that the level of just the sheer storytelling and how it all unfolds, it's been great.
No, and this is something that we've been talking about for the last 2 years. 2 years ago, I would have never imagined saying Archie's the top of my stack when it comes out.
Yep.
But Mark Waid has been killing this consistently.
Killing it.
And it when I bought my book today, this is the first one I read because I'm like, I want to be able to know what happens in Archie. And I tell everybody, go fucking read Archie because it's great. Yeah. Kudos to Mark Waid. He finally found his place.
Good for you, man. When I see you next time, I'm going to give you a big old kiss.
One thing that I want to touch on real quick that a slight bit of outrage. So the new Power Rangers issue came out this week.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, I think I missed an issue or two, or they're on my to buy later list or whatever. So I go back and I missed an annual that came out last month, I think. $7.99.
Oh.
For a Power Rangers annual.
Annual gets to be $1, maybe $2 more.
Right. And being that this is from Boom, I think from Boom, so it's not even like Boom. A Marvel or DC, 50 cents, maybe.
Sure.
$7.99.
God damn. Right in the nuts. And it was and I bet you it was important.
I think so. I haven't read them yet. I found out I was actually 3 issues behind on Power Rangers, so I'm sure it ties in somewhere. I read the description of it, and it says that Tommy finally chooses where he's going to go, whether he's going to stay with Rita or whatever. So I'm assuming...
know where he's going to go.
Yeah. So I'm assuming the next issue that came out after that was directly affected by it. So I was like, fuck, I got
So actually the annual is all about Tommy.
And all the Black Rangers from multiple universes or something. I don't know. But yeah, so it does tie into the story. So I had to buy it. Fucking $8.
Oof. That's a legitimate pet peeve, man.
Right?
My condolences.
So.
But that's it for me this week.
That's all the gripes that I have for today.
Hopefully there's not another $7.99 annual in your future. I mean, at that point, you can literally, for $2 more, buy an entire trade paperback.
I'm pretty sure the actual Power Rangers comic itself is only $2.99. So I think
so it's more than twice?
Yeah.
Boom.
Right.
This is what happens when Fox gets involved.
Fuck yeah. So
we won't see you next week.
No. The week after? I'll be here.
Week after, we'll see you then.
See you in 2 weeks.
Bye.